I have a confession to make. I love cartoons. Seriously, I have an addiction to them. My only problem with them is that they take too long to get made. I had to wait roughly a year and a half for the third season of Rick and Morty. However, there is one show that makes all of their episodes in only 6 days. That show is South Park. If you are a fan of South Park, then you probably know that the episodes of South Park are written, voiced, and animated in only 6 days. But it wasn't always this way. It took 3 months and a crew of 8 to shoot a 22-minute long pilot episode using nothing but construction paper, scissors, and a lot of coffee. Matt Stone and Trey Parker were heavily inspired by Monty Python's Flying Circus cutout aesthetic, which they found a lot easier and simpler to animate since neither of them had a background in any hand-drawn animation. In said pilot episode, the animators scanned construction paper into a massive computer database, which they use to this very day. In fact, the show still uses the same textures from 1997. This allowed the crew to produce each episode in only 3 weeks, and nowadays, with a staff of about 70 people, each episode is done in less than 6 days. Reportedly, some episodes took as little as 3 to 4 days to complete. Thanks to the show's minimalistic aesthetic of construction paper, the characters don't walk, they just kind of hop around. They lack fingers, and overall there's very little actual animation between poses, which condenses the time of animation required every second. And in the earlier seasons, the characters that had no spoken lines just stood still for the duration of the scene. This kind of animation process allows the show to stay more relevant and topical, compared to The Simpsons and Family Guy, which could take 4 to 6 months to animate at $2 million per episode. And God forbid you create a scene only to discover that it's hideously drawn or the jokes aren't working. You wait even longer for it to be fixed. South Park can fix those things a lot faster. 8 years ago, the day after Barack Obama was elected president, South Park released the heist-focused episode About Last Night, which was cleverly designed to adapt either an Obama or John McCain victory, going as far as using segments of dialogue from Obama's real victory speech.
If there is anyone out there tonight who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer.
If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer.
But even those comedic geniuses can be caught off guard. In 2016, the show's creators had to rewrite an entire episode of South Park after Donald Trump was elected as the President of the United States of America. The episode was originally going to be titled The Very First Gentleman, showcasing PC Principal welcoming Bill Clinton to speak to South Park elementary students after a Hillary Clinton win. And for obvious reasons, the episode was renamed... Oh, jeez. With only 6 days to write an episode, this must be putting a lot of pressure on the show's writers. So it is almost a miracle that the show delayed only 1 episode during their entire history, and only because of the power shortage on October 15th, 2013. The show's swift production is the greatest strength, but also its greatest weakness. One of the earliest examples of this was in the Season 4 episode Quintuplets 2000, which references the United States Border Patrol's raid of a house during the Elian Gonzalez affair, an event which occurred only 4 days before the episode originally aired. The Season 9 episode, Best Friends Forever, references the Terri Schiavo case and originally aired in the midst of the controversy and less than 12 hours before she died. A scene in the Season 7 finale, It's Christmas in Canada, references a discovery of dictator Saddam Hussein in a spider hole and his subsequent capture, which happened a mere 3 days prior to the episode airing. On the other hand, you could say the show's previous seasons might feel outdated for discussing political changes or previous topics that might no longer be relevant. Watching past seasons might have kept its humor, but the edge and commentary has obviously become outdated. If anything, this makes every season feel like a time capsule, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We here at Totally Awesome Geeks would like to say thank you to the writers, storyboarders, voice talents, animators, and others for doing your job. As I was researching this topic, I realized how difficult it was to make even a single 22-minute animated episode, and how those hardworking men and women make it look so damn easy. Needless to say, these individuals are putting themselves through hell for your amusement. No Kennys were killed, maimed, or injured during the making of this episode. You Well, geeks, we've once again made it to the end of another great episode. And whether you live in North Park, South Park, East Park, or West Park, doesn't matter. What I need you to do is hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to support us and check out our Patreon and our merch. Links are always in the description. If you live in an actual park, you probably don't have an internet hookup or a computer, so you're not even listening to this. I don't know why I'd be talking to someone that's not actually listening to me, but it's just another day in my life, you know what I'm saying?